evening. Hit it too fast, twice times. Good evening. Welcome back to the late shift. College football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I'm here with my special guest for this evening, Mr. Jonathan Lewis from the Bama Standard. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos. Don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. What's up there, Seatbelt Mafia and Corporate Duck? My guys, how are we doing this evening, gentlemen? Mr. Lewis, how are you, sir?
Good. It'd be nice if OU would have took it a little easy on Alabama when it came to
man. I got to tell you, I was a little more concerned about Alabama coming into this weekend than I was about the third inning today. So I was like, golly.
Like 14-2 or something. I don't know what it was.
It was rough. It was rough, but and the thing is that Alabama had taken 2 or 3 in their place during the regular season, so I was a little concerned myself. But something about this time of year that does something to Patty Gasso and those Sooner women's softball team. They get hot at the right time. All of a sudden, their pitching looked really good. And here we are. They're headed back to the World Series for the 9th year in a row. Looking for 5 championships in a row.
That's insane.
Yeah. Pretty weird. And, this is a year they're coming in with, they're very young. The best class of all time.
Yeah.
Just graduated that won all 4, every year they were there. And so the expectation was, if you're going to get them, you better get them now. And I don't know if anybody's going to get them now or not. We'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of good softball to be played, though. So we'll kind of see what happens. But Neilio, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Hey, Mom. There's Mom. How's it going? Let's see. Jimmy Satterfield, my guy. Like I said, we got the Seatbelt Mafia and Corporate Duck in here as well. Welcome into the show, everybody. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to get to 3 big things, 3 big questions, basically, that I'm going to ask Mr. Lewis here. But we kind of have to start it off a little bit by at least getting into what we saw this week about playoff expansion, the seedings for the current playoff coming up this season in the 12 team, and what that, I think it kind of may have actually doomed the Big 12 and the ACC, if you're asking me, on having any kind of control whatsoever over college football in the years to come.
Yep.
I've said this a bunch of times, I don't love that they've kind of cornered the sport and been able to do that the way they have. My son's trying to call me here. FaceTime, and I have it on do not disturb. It should not be happening, so I'm not sure what just went down. He's actually on his way to Reno, so if he calls me back, I may answer. But anyway, he's moving up to Lake Tahoe for the summer. Tough life the boy lives. Yeah, tough life the boy lives. Yeah, he a little fucker. Anyway, I'll have to show you guys some pictures of this freaking place his boss rented for him to go work over there for the summer. Little fucker. Anyway, all right. Bishop Frank, what's up, my guy? Goated Chicken. Good to see everybody in here. Sooner, Texas. What's up, everybody? All right. So, okay, I think I've got that turned off where I cannot be disturbed.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn mine off for.
I was like, what the hell? Maybe I didn't have it off, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so last year when they gave them full control because the SEC and the Big Ten were threatening to move off on their own if they didn't get the money split that they wanted and full control over the format of the college football playoffs starting in 2026, moving forward until I guess it'd be 2032, 2033, whatever. Yeah. And I said then that I thought that was a mistake because if you're going to do anything, you got to you got to call their bluff right then. Because here's the thing. The country won't care about just the SEC and Big Ten playing for a national championship. It'll always that's 3/4 of the country not involved in that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So to me, you should have called their bluff right then. They didn't, of course. They probably had a little bit of, I mean, it's only a year's worth, and SEC and Big Ten could have probably sucked it up to if they'd have kept the seedings instead of straight seeding like they went to. They could have said, you know, no, we want to make sure that we get that bye week, and I don't care about your seedings being shitty.
Yep.
But if they had done that, then obviously, you know, moving forward, they would probably just change it to what they want anyway. I think they're going to either way. I don't know what it is that you have to do, but I feel like now the Big 12 and the ACC are bent over a barrel.
I did okay. I'm going to try to explain this as nicely as humanly possible here. From the beginning, I said when we moved into this 12-team playoff, I said multiple times, the Big 12, the ACC, and Pac-12 at the time was not having none of this conversation of, I don't think you guys fully grasp what happens when you expand. So most people think, okay, when you expand the playoffs, it gives more teams chances to win the national championship. Theoretically, yes. Theoretically. And there's a reason why theoretical science exists, right? So all that stuff exists because it's all theoretical. Is to put on a show. And that show is sports entertainment, which draws in a lot of money. The bigger the pot, the more we can collect for NIL, revenue sharing, everything else. And if anybody knows that more than anybody, it's going to be Oklahoma right now for laying off part of their staff for the revenue sharing purposes, right? So that just happened.
I'm not sure that this is as big a deal as what it's being made out to be in Oklahoma, but go ahead, continue. I get what you're saying.
But the point is this, like, we're consolidating everything to become more competitive within the SEC, within the Big Ten. Why? Because that's where your money that's where your money's at, right? That's where your Texas A&M, that's where your Texas, that's where you know what I mean? The Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State.
There's a lot of money in that. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just to get to my point really quick here, the more you broaden it, the actual less competition you're going to have. You think that the ACC putting more teams in is going to help them out? No, it absolutely will not, in my opinion, because all you're doing is diluting the playoffs, and you're going to see more often than not the Georgia TCU. And God forbid when we go to 16 teams
early in the. So you're saying like early in the playoff, it's going to be like that all the way, and it could. You think it's going to continue to be like it was in the 14 playoff?
I think we're going to long down the road, right? So I'm thinking long term here. Short term, you're going to have terrible matchups at the beginning. You'll probably have some Cinderella stories to get past the first round, but that's probably about it. Long term, though, what I'm thinking is that the powers that be, the Alabamas, the Oklahomas, the Texas, the Ohio States, the Michigans, they're going to seize control of this, right? So this whole conference realignment is not done, right? We're going to a system to where you're going to have farming teams, and I don't believe that's out of reach at this point. What I mean is, look at when Alabama won the last national championship. They used J-Mo, who came from Ohio State. They used Jahmyr Gibbs, who came from Georgia Tech. Right, I believe we had 6 transfers on that team, and 5 of them were starters. Right.
Okay.
Essentially, now it's a free reign of going and purchasing these kids. Essentially, is what this is, right? So possibly.
Depends on how this Deloitte clearinghouse thing works out, which I've got my feelings about that, as we know.
Cheaters going to cheat. You're not cheating. You're not trying.
Yes.
Plain and simple. The cheating is going to continue. I don't care what passes in what state. Tennessee can fight this shit all they want. It's not going to matter. It's what I keep telling people over and over again. They're like, oh, well, now you got more powers of be to compete. No, you don't. Like, until somebody does it, I'm not going to say it is, man. Like,
okay.
It's something I've been strong on for a while, but go ahead.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, because if we're going to the Deloitte side of things, and we're starting to say that, you know, they're not, I mean, assuming that they're not going to be able to like shut down NIL, the size of NIL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not going to be able to do that,
They're not gonna be able to.
and they're not going to be able to.
No. The revenue sharing is the only thing they can control.
Right.
Corporate Duck said it best, right? So he put, you
Oh,
know,
it's antitrust it's got antitrust shit written all over it.
bro,
For them to say if you're saying, number one, how are you going to tell these institutions that they can't obey the laws of their state?
exactly.
So it's like, okay, well, I don't get that part. Somehow they're telling us that that's what's going to happen, and Tennessee's going to get kicked out of the SEC, and blah 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 blah, whatever. Let's put that shit aside for a minute, anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put that aside. Let's say all things being equal, we're moving forward, and now I'm going to have to add that back, but that's okay. Now we have this new playoff way of doing things. Hold on, let me pull that back up. Come on, sucker. Here it goes. Okay. So having this new playoff way of going about things. So the old model, as you saw last year, you had ASU in one of the top 4 positions, and even Boise State, the group of 5 champion with the highest ranking,
Yep.
gets one of the buys. Now, Georgia and Oregon, that's all well and good. But if you look at the new model and what it'll do on here on the right, you know, it would have changed those bottom 2. You know, Texas ends up being number 3, Penn State ends up being number 4 in this scenario. And so, and now ASU has to get through Ohio State in order to get to Texas,
Exactly.
which they're not going to do. Texas arguably isn't going to be able to get past Ohio State in that next round because I don't think anybody was beating Ohio State, right?
Agree.
You know, not the way they were playing.
Yeah. On fire at the right time.
Yeah. Rather than Oregon, though, being the number 1 overall seed and the number 1 team in the country for weeks, Big Ten champions, undefeated, instead of getting Ohio State in that next round, they get the winner of Boise and IU.
Yeah. Well, it should be.
Right. And then Clemson and Notre Dame, that's a better first round game than Notre Dame and Indiana.
Jesus Christ, yes.
Yeah. And then even though I don't love the idea of Penn State getting the bye, they had 2 losses. They were deemed the third best team, probably, or 4th best team in the country anyway. That's where they had them ranked. Now you've got a pretty good matchup in that quarterfinal round. And you probably, if you're Oregon, you're like, fuck, y'all are going to this now? You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I mean, Tennessee, you know, they'd love it not having to play Ohio State first. And SMU, who probably shouldn't have been there, is going to probably still get thumped a little bit in Rocky Top. But then you've got a good matchup in round 2 between, you know, you've got power matchups. You would have, you know, if you think of it's going to be Notre Dame against Penn State, Oregon, whoever they get out of that first one, they're moving on. So you're either going to have Penn State, Notre Dame, or Notre Dame going up against Oregon in the semifinal. And most likely you're going to still have Ohio State, and you're going to have the winner of Georgia and Tennessee in the other semifinal.
Yep.
That seems okay, right? And honestly, you know, this is where I'm saying I don't think if you're the Big 12 that you love that. Nope. Because guess what? They should have beat Texas.
Dude,
they should have beat Texas. They didn't. So to me, I think that they really probably should have put their foot down right here and said, fuck you. We're not agreeing to this. You're going to continue. We're going to continue like it is now. Damn the future, because we already pissed that away last year.
Yep.
And we're at and because every time that you say okay to them, to the SEC and the Big Ten, you embolden them to say fuck you more often.
Exactly.
And they're just, well, we're just going to go do it on our own. The truth is, if they do that, this is me covering the game for as long as I have and being a fan of this game for as long as I have. It's always the end of the world, right? It's always, if we don't fix this in college football, nobody's going to fucking watch it anymore. Well, this might be the one time that that's true. If you cut off access, because this is where I think, as far as what you were saying a minute ago, I agree to an extent. But it's not about who can win the national championship necessarily. It's about access to have a shot at it. Right. So if you say we don't need you Big 12, we don't need you ACC, or we need just a couple of the teams at the top, but we don't need you at all, that's 75% of the country, or 75% of FBS that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not even talking half. We're talking, so I think you need at least 70 schools in order to not alienate 75% of the country. Because here's the one thing, as long as Neilio, who's a K-State fan, believes that K-State has an opportunity to make it through and win a national championship, or at least compete for a chance to win it, then he's going to keep watching. If he doesn't think that his team has any opportunity, because they're not invited to the dance at all, why the fuck is he watching?
So I'm just going to be
one way you could kill the golden goose.
I'm going to be as frank as I humanly can here. And I don't know how I'm going to be received from saying this, but I frankly just don't care. Nobody gives a shit about Boise State football.
I'm not
in January. Nobody gives a shit about
I don't care about G5 so much, but I'm talking about the other power conferences.
I personally don't care about watching Boise State or Tulane or any of those teams. I don't care if they're in the playoffs. The viewership is not there. This is always going to come down to money, right? So we can sit here and alienate, in my opinion, 70% of the country, because what you can have is a Power 2 conference where you compete for a national championship because it's a legitimate chance to win a national championship.
Fine.
And then you have the Power 4 or whatever the hell you want to call them, the Group of 5 or Group of 8, whatever you want to do with that. Mm-hmm. And then you give them their own NAIA championship, right? So, because in a sense, this is the system we're going to, whether we like it or not. The money, okay, business always has, I'm a business major, business has to be squeezed down. Right, you can't squeeze something that's not there. Mm-hmm. So that's my argument to this, and people don't want to embrace is like the more people you include, the less valuable those games become. The less valuable those bowl games become, which means your sponsors are less willing to give you more money because nobody wants to watch Boise State versus Penn State.
That I get.
So essentially,
in a small dose, if that's what you're giving up to get the rest of everything, I don't know. I'm with you. I think the G5 has got to be cut out of it.
It's got to be.
I think you can go to some. I think that you can go to some. What am I looking for here? I think you could go to some level of like a relegation thing or whatever down the road where you can. If somebody wins that Group of 5 championship or whatever, they move up, or the top 4 of the Group of 5 move up into the next level into one of those. That's it's going to take a lot. That soccer deal that they do in Europe, right, or every sport they do in around the world. That's all well and good. But here's the thing, and I'm with you on all of that. I think that they're going to stick with this. It's obvious they're going to stick with this. What they have to do is. I think that the ACC and the Big 12 are also in danger of being squeezed out of this thing by the Big 2, because there's no look. The Big 2 get 56% of the overall money.
They should. Look at the viewership.
Listen, I understand. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you, man. That
I got you.
You still have to. That's a. And I'm not even talking about what it should be or whatever, but they're doing that. They're everything they want now has been agreed to. So they're going to keep squeezing.
They are.
The problem is, I think that that's the end all be all. But the ACC and the Big 12 didn't stand up when they had to, and now they won't be able to moving forward, in my opinion. I don't know what kind of concessions the Big 2 made over this past weekend when they made this decision, or during the week when they made all this decision. But it concerns me moving forward that what does it look like later? Here's what I'm going to tell you. The Deloitte thing probably isn't going to go through, which means even if it does go through, the first time they tell a player he can't accept an NIL payment. That goes to court, and now you're right back where you were. So if you believe that shit's gonna happen, you know, I've got great property for you that you can see the ocean from in Arizona.
Right behind me.
Yeah, it's right. I can see right where he's sitting. But all things being equal, I've said this a lot. The Big 12 and ACC are in deep shit, aside from maybe a couple of programs.
Yeah.
Once the rev share gets here, that 20.5 million, because right now, NIL, everybody's paying what they can afford, right? They're planning for revenue share, the 20.5 million that you have to put out there towards it. And they're hoping that they can limit it to that, which is funny. But the truth be told, it's not going to work out. And what will end up happening is now Texas and Texas A&M and Bama and Oklahoma and Notre Dame and Ohio State are going to be able to funnel extra cash for bigger, better players through NILs, collectives, because they can't do a damn thing about it, because the courts have already signaled they don't want to hear your shit when it comes to players and how much money they can and can't make.
Yeah.
It's been proven.
Pandora's box, bro, has been open. It's been open.
You ain't closing it either. That's the point I'm making is if you wanted to figure this out, you should have figured it out last year and grown a pair, because without doing so, now you're screwed, because you're never going to be able to stand up to them and say, or even if you wanted to, the only thing you can do is take your ball and go home and tell them we're not going to participate in this. Now, that takes bigger balls than they've proven to be able to have. So I don't really see that going down. In the end, do you feel like, I feel like that just kind of leads us into what we're talking about. That, that moving forward, even though now Notre Dame's acting like they're on the side of ACC and Big 12, that they don't want to see it, the SEC and Big 10, get 4 teams in each without them getting at least 3. Now that sounds good. I'd be all for that. I'm not a fan of auto qualifiers whatsoever. I think it's stupid.
Yep.
I don't love them. I think that the SEC and the Big 10 are going to get 4 in every year. Almost every year. There may be a weird year here or there, but because they just fixed this straight seeding deal, if it continues down that road, they're getting 4, maybe 5 every year, especially now that they want to go up to not 14, but 16 teams in the playoff.
Hilarious.
Right.
Yeah.
So why? They're fixing everything in their favor, and it's really not fair. But fair is not a part of it, John.
I keep saying it, bro. Just because you deserve it doesn't mean you're going to get it.
Fair is where they judge pigs.
People don't want to hear it, man.
It's where they judge pigs, brother. It's where they judge pigs. So here's the deal. Figure it out, folks, and find a way to stay alive until you get there. And if you don't find a way to win a national championship in the ACC or the Big 12, you are fucked.
You're going to have to win the conference.
Yeah, they have to win a natty if they want any kind of ability to stay going. You know what I mean? Yeah. They got to do it. It concerns me. Okay. I brought up Notre Dame in that. That brings us to question number 1 in our big 3 questions. Let me go through. Actually, before we do that, let's go through some of these because the comments have been going fucking nuts. So let's go through here a little bit.
You've been pissing people.
What's up there, Kimberly K? Okay. Let's see. G5 needs to play separate for their own championship yesterday. I agree. A lot of people are agreeing there. Why are we pretending there are 133 teams playing at the same level of football? Correct. There's no 2 ways around it. But we can't get in the habit of changing it every year. Well, they have. It already is a habit. This is the 3rd year in a row that things will change. Come next year, it'll be 3 years in a row because they're going to move to a 16-team deal when they just moved to 12, and then they changed the 12 team to the seeding. Now, going back to what we were talking about on that other deal, I like the seeding. I think that's what they should have done from the start. I think here's the other thing though. How big a winner, or how much Notre Dame came out smelling like a rose. Could they have gotten any better for Notre Dame than this straight seeding deal?
It was their straight seating saved their ass.
Hey,
Plain and simple.
listen.
They were celebrating the moment they saw that.
Oh, it was already a good deal for them. They get the same cut as every Big Ten and SEC team gets.
Yeah.
Essentially. And even a little more because they don't have to share some of that shit. They got 10% and they went to the championship, so they got $20 million last year.
Yep.
Now they can't win that other $4 million that goes with the money, you know, if you move to the quarterfinals. The conference champions are still going to get that. But dude, they came out smelling like a rose.
Yeah. Opposite of the ACC, opposite of the Big 12. Sorry.
Yes. Right. And it works for Notre Dame to act like they're the good guys in this and take the side of the little guy. It works. And I'm not hating on Notre Dame. I know, Coach, if you're listening, I'm not talking shit. I'm just being real. It works for Notre Dame to say, hey, we agree it shouldn't be this way. Hell, we're agreeing with a lot of the stuff for the little guy on this, and we're both got teams in the SEC.
I don't blame them. Look at what the Big Ten did to the Pac-12. Oh yeah, we got you. We got your back, and then turned around, pulled out the knife, stabbed him right in the back. Like, oh my God, bro.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Warren still lives in the Midwest.
Yeah, really surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's running like part of the Detroit or something?
Yeah, yeah.
The networks collectively are squeezing every nickel they can out of this playoff. Well, they are, but Pinstripe or Pit Snipe Husker. Yeah, we got something to say to you in a minute too. But nobody will mind when the Power 2 or 3 form their own league if it stays the same way. I don't agree with that. I think that as long as you have at least access to the party, then you're good to go. You got to have access to the party. But what I don't like, I think that as long as you continue stacking it in your favor, you know, the reason the SEC wrestled control and became the most powerful conference in the country wasn't because of the money or the viewership, is because they were winning national championships year on year on year on year.
And it grew. Yeah, it just compounded.
Right.
Yeah.
So that gave them the power, and now they're wanting to hold it as hard. And listen, I understand where they're at on it. What I'm saying is you gotta realize that it is a new time. In the NIL time, you got to reprove it too. Everybody has to. Again, if they don't get and I'm assuming they will never get a handle on NIL. They won't, because it's NIL.
There's no way.
They might be able to kill collectives and do shit like that. They will never get a handle on NIL. The Bagman is coming back, baby. The Bagman is coming back.
Bagman never left.
I don't think the Bagman never left either.
He was just in the shadows, bro. That's all that is.
For real though. Yeah. Let's see. Most successful businesses are simplified to the max without hurting the bottom line.
No, you're right. And that was my point, is like, exactly.
Yeah. And this is right too. The have-nots don't want a system that includes only the haves. So that's the point that I'm making. That's what I'm making there too, is that, so what you have, as long as you allow everybody who's willing to play the NIL game, or your 20.5 million and whatever, as long as you allow them access the Big 12, and they can live, and they'll live with it too. I'm looking for anything that may be being said by our boy, Neilio here. Neilio, you in here still? Where you at? Yeah, they're going to 16, bro. It's already happening. Hi, Kimberly K. Let's see. Rest in peace, Norm from Cheers. Norm from Cheers died? That's George Wendt.
Really?
Yeah, that sucks. Live in South Bend. Really miss the December playoff game if we were in the top 4. Support Texas and Notre Dame. Yeah. Oof. Texas.
Is Nick Cannon part of the committee making changes? Oh, man.
Wilding out and shit. Yeah, I love it. All right. I have always killed to watch the Red Rivalry. Was a respectful Sooner fan.
He just had another baby mama. Anyways.
What, huh?
No, it's
Nick Cannon's got another baby mama?
I don't know. I'm just making a
Oh,
joke.
another minute went by. He's got to have happened, right?
Exactly.
It's fucking awesome. James Thrice, my guy, where you been? This is the only way to regulate NIL is to make players and employees to have a part of the eligibility be tied to all NIL deals and not being
that's a
related.
problem on its own right there, though. You can't do that. That's like going to an NFL player and saying, Aaron Rodgers, you can't work with Mercedes. They can't do that to them.
Yeah.
It's uncontrolled.
Pat Mahomes, State Farms, your State Farm deal's too much money.
Exactly. They can't do that. They cannot.
They're not going to be able to do that. Here's the thing. What they don't even, it's not really about regulating NIL. And anybody that's talking about regulating NIL is just the power brokers, the universities, the schools, the coaches that get to make whatever the fuck they want. And then, of course, conferences and the NCAA itself. So the money side of it, that's just a distraction, folks. That's just a distraction. What you really want to fix is the ability to freely move between teams all the time.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
That's what everybody really wants to fix.
Yes.
That's fixable. That's fixable. It requires collective bargaining, though.
I agree. I think if you want to make fans 10 times happier, including myself, you want to make me 10 times happier, you're 1,000% right. You fixed the transfer portal, which is a part of it, obviously, to only having one transfer portal window, 15 days directly after the national championship. That way, every general manager knows what he has going into that season and an off season, right? So, and then you fix recruiting. Stop with the damn early signing period and national signing period. Stop with the December and then the February. No, just have a February signing day, right? So, or readjust the movement. Really, it would make more sense to put the portal after the national championship and then realistically have national signing day in December. That way, you know.
Yeah, and all this enrollment and bullshit. You can bullshit everybody about that all you want to, but nobody gives a fuck about enrollment.
No, of course not. But what I'm getting at is if you fix that, then us as fans, and then you fix the you can't leave every year thing, we know what to expect going into the season, like what to cheer for. If I go and buy a jersey, I don't have to worry about burning that jersey the very next season.
Facts. That's the point. And so, yeah, fans want to have players to get behind. They want to be able to buy a jersey. They want to do, you know what I'm saying? Yes. They're trying to do that. And look, because you get attached to these kids whenever you get them in recruiting, right? So I get it. I understand this part. It makes plenty of sense to me. It is fixable, but in order to do that, again, because I've said this before, I said this on my show yesterday, I'm going to say it again. I will be the guy standing on the fucking table yelling at you that it's not the kids' fault.
No, it's not.
It has nothing to do with the athletes. They didn't make a single rule yet. But if you really want to be able to blame it on players, that's how you're going to be able to do it, is by letting them have a say in this system. Collective bargaining will save the sport. And I know people don't want to hear this shit, but it will save the sport. And the reason it will save the sport is if it's collectively bargained everything, the money, the rules, how you do this, how you do that. Just, I don't know how many people have been in a union before, but you give and you get, you give and you get. But they collectively bargain it, which does what? It will give you what you're looking for, which is protection from lawsuits.
Yeah.
All this bullshit about being able to like go around the fucking state laws and all that other bullshit. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
I've already proposed something, and it's not simple, right? So, and just to make it really quick in under a minute, hopefully here, essentially a recruit says, I want to go play for the University of Oklahoma. That recruit has two choices. That recruit gets to be a non-student athlete to where he's only doing football, but he cannot get his degree until after he declares for the NFL draft or declares that he can't make it, right? So we'll say 4 seasons max is what you get. After that fourth season, I go to the NFL draft. whatever. He did, and he doesn't want to come back and get his degree, whatever. But after that 4 years, let's say you don't go to the NFL, well, they're given the option to come back to complete their degree for 4 years, but they can't play football. So in other words, it gives you the option to, I want to fully concentrate on football and make it to the NFL right now.
That's all well and good. I don't even really care how they do it. That, you know what though? That sounds like something you collectively bargain.
And my point, like, you know what I mean? Because I feel like some players are, it's just built different, man. Like, and I feel like this whole student athlete term is bogus now that this Pandora's box has been opened.
Yeah. Riley asks, is this house settlement in jeopardy of not passing anyway? Here we are in almost June, no deal in place. It was supposed to go into effect July 1st. So it seems quite possible it doesn't pass. Well, the thing that they're not hung up on this Deloitte stuff. I know that. I think the last thing that they were having hangups with was the conferences just kind of ignored the judge when she said,
yes,
get rid of these scholarship limits. At least temporarily, you know, you got to grandfather it back. You know, you need to do some stuff to fix that. They said they just acted like they weren't going to do it. And then she came back and said, I'm not going to approve this until you do, dipshits. Hurry up. Bro. So obviously they're coming, I don't know how they're going to rearrange all that. That's a nothing problem. The Deloitte thing, it's not up to her to enforce that. The judge doesn't have to enforce that. It's an agreed upon deal with the NCAA and the House folks. Okay. That doesn't mean, again, the players have not been brought into this conversation to see if they would approve of such a thing, because you know damn well they won't.
No.
After decades and decades and decades of you making money on them and not giving them a dollar. You know, and so listen, I will stand on the tables and tell you, I don't care. They earned the money. You owe them every dollar of it. Quit trying to get out of paying them. NCAA and conferences and coaches, stop it. You want control. You want the biggest part of the money. That's what you really want. Stop telling us it's something else, because we know better. We know better. So yeah, bro, come on, you know. Anyway. Uh-oh. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I got something going on here. Okay, there it is. I'm going to have to re-put that back up there for some reason. All right. Anyway, moving forward, as we're just, you know, like I said, we were just talking about that, and I'm thinking, you know, you have to expect that this is going to continue. It's only going to get worse for the folks that want to have you believe that this is a player problem. It's not a player problem. This is a problem with the people that have put the rules into place. If they wanted to fix this problem, really, if the real problem for the powers that be was you know, the transfer portal, and the real problem was being able to move around all you want to, if that was the real issue, and players getting greedy and all that other bullshit, what they would have already done would they would have instituted some form of, okay, we're only going to offer 2-year contracts. But they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that because coaches like it just as much as the players, that to be able to say a year at a time, we want this kid to continue playing here.
Yeah.
They want to be able to send you down the road just as bad as you might want to go down the road if you're not getting paid right. I said this, I've been saying this for 2 weeks now. Here's it is again, though. Players are going to continue telling you that they entered the portal. The teams are going to continue not saying that they asked you to go into the portal, because it makes the coaches look bad to do that. It makes the players look bad to say, yeah, I got cut. They would rather look greedy than look like they suck. Don't you agree?
I agree. Daniel's comment got me, dude, when I was drinking.
They'd rather look greedy, though. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Almost spit my drink out.
Sorry about that.
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, bro. Anyways, you know, I agree with you, dude. I'm just over it, man. I wish something would happen out of this Title IX shit.
Well, and I will say this one more time too. I just want everybody to remember that forever, for as long as I can remember, we've always said that the end of college football is near because of this or that or this or that. They say it every fucking year, dude. Every year.
What you got going on?
I was just putting
There
that.
we go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah, sorry about that. They do this all the time where they act like, you can't, there's nothing you can do. And the college football is about to die. The game is over. If we don't do this, we're fucked. Well, we know that's not true. We know that's not true.
yeah. Otherwise, it would have been dead 15 times over again.
Yeah, no shit. And you know how I know it's not dead now either? It's too much fucking money involved in the shit. That's why.
$1 billion industry. Billion with a B.
Billions. Yeah. Look, each one of those television contracts between the Big Ten and Fox and their, CBS and NBC and all them, that's what, $7 billion there. I want to say that the ESPN with SEC is somewhere around 4 to 5 billion, something like that. And then you have the playoff, which is 7 billion over the next 7 years.
It's a lot of money. It's not a zero.
Yeah, that's just the stuff we're talking about all the time. That didn't have nothing to do with regional deals and all the NIL money that goes around, which also goes to coaches and everybody else. There's all kinds of fucking money. And then what they can do with terrestrial radio, internet radio, there's a million ways that they make money.
How the hell is this country in debt? We got $7 billion.
We can't go into that.
I know, right? Like, yeah, I'm not going to propose that. I'm not proposing that question. Just named off like $40 billion.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wish I was drinking on the job.
What are you guys in there talking about?
Get my energy drink.
All right. No, but that's why I know that the sport is not going to die unless you kill it. The only thing they can do is screw it up.
Yep.
So don't screw it up. It tends to in the one way that I would tell you that you would. Here's the thing: even if somehow the courts, and I don't think this is ever going to happen, but let's say the courts did agree with this Deloitte deal. All right, let's just say for some stupid reason, or the president stepped in and did some kind of fucking order in Congress and all that, which wouldn't be lawful either. All the players got to do is say, well, we're not playing.
Yeah.
That would last 10 minutes.
Dude.
They'd get everything they want.
Yeah.
They get everything they want.
Yeah,
you can't have a game without athletes. And they'll act like, oh, well, we'll go find somebody else. No, you won't.
No, we've already seen how that looks.
Yeah, you will not.
We've seen replacements in different sports, and
it doesn't work.
It does not work.
No.
It definitely does not work.
No, it'll last 10 minutes. Like I said, 10 minutes later, okay. Collective bargaining, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll figure it out. Okay. Until then, shut up. The point is, you're not going to you can fix but the stuff that you really want fixed, which as a fan, you really want to root for the team on the front, not the back, right? You want to root for the team on the front.
Yep.
So that fixes that part. If you can look, if they want to do a 2-year deal or whatever and hold you in place, or even if they're just okay with, because I think the players by and large are okay with saying, yeah, man, we can only do it one time a year. We can only go into the portal once. Okay. And the team, we know that the team's okay with that because that's what they want. Kirby Smart's been bitching about it for months, saying, I just want to know who my team is for a year. Okay, cool.
Your team needs to stay out of prison. Your team needs to stop getting speeding tickets and assault tickets, reckless driving tickets, DUIs. Then you would know who the hell's on your team.
Yeah, listen,
sorry.
No, that was great.
Oh, man.
Shots fired at Kirby from an Alabama fan. Shocker. I was kind of taking a shot at him too.
I'll respect.
You You don't have to unionize teenagers, right? What do you mean there's no way to? Yes, there is. Yes, there is. You show up, you have a union rep in your school that helps them do that. Yes, there is.
Look at the
And
European
guess
model.
what? It's already happening, or they've got former players that are willing to do this. What do you mean you can't? What do you mean you can't?
You absolutely can.
Drew,
Look at
come
soccer.
on, man. Do you always say dumb stuff? Come on, you're turning into freaking Chrissy.
That dude said full of GTA characters.
Really?
Bro, you guys are
Yeah.
on from tonight. I like it.
That's a good one. I like this. Yeah. The sport is better than it's ever been. I don't know that it's better than it's ever been, but it's pretty damn good.
It is. It's enjoyable.
It is. On the other side of what's to stop the other side from doing a lockout of the players? The money won't show up anymore. That's what'll stop it. I mean, what are we talking about here, bro? You really believe this? This is awesome, Corporate Doug.
That is good.
Well, you say it will never happen. We said a lot of things would never happen in this sport. I'm telling you, you know what else will never happen? They will never be able to control NIL. Never.
It's just you can't control NIL because technically, if you think about it, NIL is the embodiment of capitalism, and you're basically saying that you can't make money off of who you are when somebody else is using that. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion is people don't understand the difference between revenue share and NIL. They're two separate systems.
Correct.
Right. So NIL
and that's exactly you're exactly right. So many people, they can't differentiate between the two because it doesn't look this way in the NFL.
Exactly.
But understand it, they don't use the word NIL in the NFL. They just use the word endorsement.
Exactly. Endorsement.
Right? But that's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. Now, that isn't what it is necessarily in college football. But you're not going to, if you think you're going to change boosters' willingness to cheat, you got another thing coming.
Bro, please let Alabama pay me money to be a bag man. I'll be doing that shit tomorrow. These people be.
This doesn't make sense what you're saying. You always do this, bro. You always do this. The disparity of talent won't allow them to unionize. It's not going around town. It's going. The only thing that you're not going to be amenable to, if you're a player, you just say no. You don't get to control what I can make. Yeah. You don't get to decide on that. If I sign with whoever the fuck wants to hand me $1, then you can't stop it. No matter what you do, you're not going to be able to stop any of that anyway. That's the whole thing. And so, believe me, I understand that people don't differentiate between the two. You got to. And this is why I've been trying to tell everybody that don't think that the way things are today is the way things are 5 years down the road. Because I'm going to tell you that I think you were saying earlier, 5 years down the road, the powers that be will continue to be the powers that be because they have more money to dump into getting the best players.
Exactly.
And it will never stop being an arms race.
Yep. No, no, you're 100% on that.
It's not tens of thousands of players. We're talking about probably 70 teams worth.
Yeah. Roughly, we'll say 70 teams worth. Yeah. That would be realistically in this.
And maybe less than that. But hopefully at least 70. That's where you have to go to, I believe. Anyway, you're talking about it can't be done? Bullshit, it can't be done. It can and it will.
We went to space. And we can't do something like this?
Fucking Drew. Fucking Drew.
We went to space and we can't figure out how to pay a teenager. Holy shit.
Oh, it's getting hot in here now. I love it. The lower half of the teams don't get to unionize. I don't know. They could if they want, I guess. I'm talking about for power football, for what we're talking about. Because nobody gives a shit about the rest of those teams. They didn't care about them yesterday. They don't care about them tomorrow. They won't care about them 10 years from now. Look, we're doing all of this stuff this is economics at its finest in this country. In the NFL, not everybody gets a huge ass contract. It's 1 or 2% of them folks. 10% of them. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. It's the stars of the league that make all the money. And that's what we legislate to all the time, right? By and large, the kids that are happy to be there, like you should be, not a starter. They were a 3-star, not a 5, or a 2-star, or a no star. They're happy to be there. It's not going to get out of hand, but you can't completely screw them over and take away the ability for them to blow up and make a lot of money.
I agree. A perfect example of this is what you're watching right now on YouTube. Revenue sharing is happening right before your eyes. There is AdSense being put into YouTube that is going to pay Jason. And then I have my channel that also pays me. And those lines are almost identical. They're very similar. They're not identical, but they're very similar, right? The great thing is let's say Jason has potential and he's so much better that he can go off and sign a deal with, I don't know, Axe body spray. There's your NIL money. You're on mute, by the way.
I do smell. That's what I was saying.
Well, I mean, apparently you've been farting according to somebody in here all night. So
I don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, no, like that's the way you got to look at it, is like, and there could be a disparity. I've been doing this for 12 years on YouTube, right? You've been doing this for what, 3 years on YouTube, Jason? So like, even though you've been a columnist and
3 years on YouTube yesterday, actually.
There you go. So
it was the first video I ever put out.
But the revenue share is the same. Revenue share don't matter. So that you can look at it that way, right? So if you want to simplify it down even more, and yeah. And the simple thing is guess what? I can easily go, I don't want to do this anymore, and YouTube's not going to pay me.
Yeah, you're saying 163 teams, Drew. There's 132 teams in FBS.
In FBS, yeah.
The G5 doesn't have power, bro. They won't ever have power.
Checking this, I'm making friends.
Oh my God. Anyway,
no, you're right though. I don't care. I've already voiced my opinion. You stretch out to 70. Me, I'm so big.
You might have multiple unions. You could have one in the SEC. You could have one in the Big 10. You could have one in the Big 12. I don't know that you'd bargain with more power if you had one union.
Yeah, you're right.
They will organize. Don't act like they're not smart enough to do it. Because even if they're not, as young children that are just becoming adults, somebody is that's been there already and knows exactly what to do.
Yeah, no, you got lawyers lining up at the cahoots,
pro
bono to do this stuff, right?
Come take a whiff, man.
Yeah, oh man.
Oh my God.
You gotta do that on your next live stream. You gotta do an introduction.
I'm talking about 70 of those teams. I'm just talking about whatever the union is what the union is. The bottom line is it can be done. It could be done if there were thousands, because you know what? I'll just think of the Teamsters union. How many fucking people you think are in that?
Bro.
They control not just transportation, trucking, all that, whatever. The Teamsters is they do all that. But that gives them power over a lot of the government too, because they have so much money. And this is a big enough industry that the players will get power to part of it. They're delaying it, all that, but we're getting so far away from what I'm trying to talk about, which is why you get on my fucking nerves, Drew. But the point is, I'm telling you, it can happen. And if you really want to fix the problems that you have as a fan, which by and large is not about how much money they make. You don't care how much money they make. What you don't want to see is them leaving when you aren't ready to see them leave and going to play for your rival who will pay them more money. That's what you want. You want control over that. In order to get that control, you have to collectively bargain.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Because until you do, they're going to keep taking you to court and saying, you can't touch me, motherfucker. They're going to keep doing it, and they're going to keep winning. And they're going to keep bitching about it. But again, this is why I'm saying college football is not dead.
It's more alive than it's ever been.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't know how the hell we got there from did Notre Dame come off smelling like a rose, but that's where we went.
Yeah, I ventured into some
shit.
I mean, I was talking about space and everything at one point. So,
yeah,
we ventured off.
All right. Lord, let's see, where are we going? How long before the mountain? See, I love the audience because you guys kind of pick your own fucking things to talk about, though. You know what I mean? It'll spin off into the woods easily, right? Just so easily, and especially in my audience. I mean,
oh yeah,
we got short attention spans. You know what I mean? It's like the kid in the outfield playing t-ball that's watching butterflies and shit.
Me, bro, like.
Yeah, me too. I got ADD like a mug.
I'm trying to read every comment coming through, and it's like,
yeah, it doesn't happen.
Some of them are A+.
That's no pro. That's why. Shut up. Eric, what's up, dude? Oh, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Who else? Chicken, man. You in here picking shit, too? Bagman for the big donors, the bar, and those gigs you want, man. Hey, man, listen, I'm ready for the Bagman. Bagman, come and see us. We're ready. We're ready.
Bagman. The hell?
I'm ready. I'm ready for that shit.
I'm gonna have me a shirt that says Bagman on it.
The Bagman.
That
could be our next shirt. Yeah, listen, we can do it. We can do it. I've got
the Bagman t-shirt.
The Bagman setup. Big Bogue's been talking about it. That's the job he wants in college football. So I get it. All right. The last question. We'll go ahead and just two more questions, but I'm just gonna ask the first one real quick because we don't have to go too deep in this because there's some Texas folks in here.
Uh-oh.
I'll just ask anyways. I'm asking you the question. Should Texas be the national favorite to win the college football playoff this year?
What would justify them being the favorite?
I don't know. They are the favorite in everybody's polls.
I mean,
pretty much. Not mine. Now, my top 25 post spring got railed on because I had them at 11th. But
well, here's what I can tell you is that there is no right. I'm going to pull a Cam Newton here. There is no right. There is no wrong. It's all entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what I say, it's just an opinion. And in case maybe you guys watched this 4th and 1 lately, you would catch on to that. But either way, here, no, absolutely not. Why would they be preseason number 1? What have they done?
I don't know why. I've just got done watching Andy and Ari earlier. It was a show from Thursday. They both have them number 1. I've seen that SEC podcast. They both have them number 1. You know, just talking about a couple. All these names that people know. J.D. Piquel, for all the love he's given to OU, he's got them number 1. The question I have, they're replacing so much. Forget about the Arch Manning part even. They're replacing a lot of players. From 2 teams that had what was the total? Like 25 guys go to the NFL in the last 2 years. They didn't win the Natty with all that talent and experience. Why are they going to win it in their first year without it?
My thing is this. If they had an experienced quarterback coming back and they just came off the playoffs, I could subjectively try to wrap my head around it. With the fact that you have an unproven quarterback, in my eyes, right? And I think in everybody's eyes, really, if you subjectively be realistic with this, he's unproven.
He is unproven.
So no, it doesn't.
I'm not even saying I think he's bad. He's unproven though.
And I said the same thing about Alabama, but Alabama being the favorites, blah, blah, blah. No, I haven't picked Alabama to win the SEC in the past 3 years, and they actually have won the SEC in the past 3 years. You know what I mean? Within that time frame.
Sure.
So, because my take is the quarterback, in my opinion, is the most important position on the field. He will take you to the national championship or remove you from that. So very simply,
There's no two ways around it.
there's no way around it. Like if you got a crap quarterback, very, very, very rarely will it not matter. Like Alabama 2015 with Jacob Coker and Derrick Henry, very rare that happens. But Jacob Coker still made some good plays, blah, 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 whatever. But no, absolutely not. It doesn't make sense to me. So if I'm looking at it from a standpoint of number one, I always am the person that says if you won the national championship last year, you have the national championship coming into this year. They can't take it from you until you lose. You can sit there and say, well, they lost this, they lost Will Howard, they lost all these. That's fine, but they haven't lost a game. Right? It's like a boxer. Does a boxer go into the next fight because he's not favored to win according to Vegas? Is his belt removed and given to the other person?
Not if they've won the belt from somebody else. Correct. That's the point. He hasn't won the belt from anybody, even in the years that they had all that.
No, I agree.
Talent coming back and experience coming in, right?
So, number one, I'm going to say Ohio State. I'm not saying they're the favorite to win it, but I'm saying they are number one, preseason number one. So not just unproven QB, but unproven one. No, and I agree, but I'm saying subjectively from my standpoint, I look at the quarterback first, right?
Sure.
So
no, but it's so unproven. That's what Corporate Duck's saying is, why would you pick anybody else? Well, I just threw my post-spring up there. I've got teams in front of them that I believe has a lot coming back.
Yeah.
And yes, some of them are replacing a quarterback too. I'm not just putting it on Arch Manning. I think Arch Manning's going to be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. Newsflash, I think he is. We hadn't seen it yet, though. And it's not just that makes you the favorite. I know quarterback is the most important position. You're not wrong about that. But they have to have a lot of things go right for them to go win it when they've had all the same things that they're talking about that they have down. They've had them the last 2 years and didn't get it done.
No, I agree. And to someone's comment in there, it says if you put Arch on Alabama, would they be the favorite? No, they should not be the favorite. Alabama shouldn't even be in this conversation because they didn't get to the playoffs last season.
Well, if you put Arch on Oregon, would they be a favorite? They have a lot more coming back than Texas does.
I still say no because he's still unproven.
What I was getting at and what Duck just said, it's not just about him. He is unproven, but who is proven? The argument that Texas fans are going to say, who is proven? Sark's pretty proven on calling plays and getting you in a position to play well. But here's the deal. You also have to make sure, you hope that all these wide receivers have graduated to the next level.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't have anybody that's got over 300-400 yards coming back at all.
Coming back. No, you don't.
So you went into the portal and those are unproven guys at this level in the portal. I like their additions by the way, but they are unproven.
Your best running back left in blue.
He's gone. CJ Baxter's back. If he's healthy, then you might be pretty good. But I didn't ever think that CJ Baxter was the best out of that running back room.
Blue, I thought was
the best, and then it was probably blue last year. Yeah.
So
although Trent Wisner is their best running back in that room now.
No, yes. No, I agree with that. And I think you can make the argument that it's damn near a crapshoot this year for if you want to put anybody at number one.
Here's the thing. I don't have – look at where I have Oregon. I don't have them at number one. And Arch has more TDs than DJ Lagway. Yeah, he played Louisiana Monroe and Mississippi State. What the fuck are we talking about?
So this is your list. This is your top 25?
Yeah. I moved it to – why do I have Notre Dame at number one? I'll tell you why. I can defend this list. Notre Dame doesn't lose everything. They've got the best offensive line in the country. They've got better receivers than they've had. And whoever ends up being the starter, I figure it's CJ Carr, can spin it. Riley Leonard really couldn't. Not only that, they got both of their running backs back, one of whom is projected to be a first rounder. They're running behind the best offensive line in the country. And they have one of the best defenses in the country as well. Yeah. They've got a lot coming back where Texas doesn't have that much. How many people that are picking favorites around the country have it swapped from my list? 11 would be Notre Dame or somewhere in that area. And number one would be Texas. That's most people out there are doing it. And I'm telling you, there ain't no fucking way that should be the case. In my opinion, if we're going by returning, that's the whole deal too. Yeah, people love to talk about returning production until they don't have any, like Texas.
Yep.
105th in the country. Notre Dame's in the top 10.
I think it's so hard. Number one, we know these lists are made for exactly what we're doing, which is debating, which is always good. I love debating, right? And it makes for good content with the audience that's communicating right through the comment section. That's why I love this stuff so much. But and I love the fact that I can come on here and I can debate you. Like, look, Penn State, you're telling me that Penn State's going to win the Big Ten. My question to you is,
I don't love that one myself. It's there. I picked it. Here's what I would tell you. Should they? Yes, they should. They have more production coming back, and they added some receivers. They didn't have to add a whole lot.
Yeah, and
their defense is going to continue being what leads them, and they run the ball well. If it wasn't for Franklin not being worth the shit in big game situations, they should win the Big Ten.
Should, yeah.
They should. Will they? Probably not.
It's kind of like so what I love about your list is realistic from a player talent standpoint, in my opinion.
Yes.
Where it gets choppy and choppy water, which nobody can gauge, is the coach, right? So LSU at 6 is telling me that Brian Kelly's going to eventually win a big game. He needs to win. He's yet to do that anywhere he's been, by the way. So you're telling me James Franklin's going to win a big game when he's never done it anywhere he's been.
Again, this isn't a projection of national champions.
No, of course.
Where I think they should rank coming into the season because of what it's a combination of what they did last year, what they have left from last year, and what you're looking at moving forward. This is where I'd have them ranked. That doesn't mean I'm projecting national champions here, even though I do think I would make Notre Dame my favorite to win the Natty. I also think that's if when I go down to the top 5, do I think Penn State's probably going to do it? My gut tells me no, but they should be a favorite to do it. They should be a favorite. Okay.
Yeah, no,
just like Clemson, they've got a lot coming back. Do I think they're going to win it? No. Should they be a favorite? Yes.
Some of these teams are gifted great circumstance, which forces you to put them at the top. Clemson is one of those teams.
Yes.
You play nobody.
They finally have receivers. They have a quarterback that started looking like a real good quarterback last year, and they've got defensive guys that are really good, just like their national championship teams over the last 10 years.
Yeah. To my point of Clemson, though, like you're going to play nobody essentially all year. You're going to get into a playoff because you beat who in the ACC ACC championship game. You're going to be so much healthier if you play it right.
Watch how I do this. Texas has Wingo and DeAndre Moore. We also have loads of talented youngsters at wide receiver. Only questions for me are the O-line. No, you have to question DeAndre Moore and Ryan Wingo. You know why? Ryan Wingo had one 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns last year. DeAndre Moore, a few more touchdowns, about the same amount of yards. They ain't done shit. And I know that I like those receivers that you got in recruiting. You think they're going to come in and be Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith in year 1? I don't. You have to do that before you do that. So saying that you've got Wingo and DeAndre Moore, who've proven nothing. And just like your freshmen, that they're going to come in and this is why we should rank you number 1 is insane.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. Otherwise, Georgia's number 1 every year, preseason.
Yeah.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Fuck Texas.
But yeah, there's so much. You know what? Can I give a shout out? Billy Napier, he was on the chopping block last season, and this man is single-handedly. He has done one of the most miraculous jobs in turning around momentum in a program.
Yeah.
My God, man. We were talking.
You just said I was delusional to have Florida in front of them, in front of Texas. Really? Why is that? They've got more people coming back, and DJ Lagway has certainly done more than Arch has. What are we talking about? And you know what? Guess what? We'll find out if Texas is better in the swamp.
Yeah, they'll play. They'll play
in week 5. Right before the Red River game. I love it. Oklahoma plays Kent State the week before the Red River game.
Oh, man, you got that Alabama shit lining up like we did.
I love it.
Games would play like Northeast Community College of the Blind.
Love it.
Oh man,
yeah. Texas won by 30 against them last year. They didn't go do it by 30 against DJ Lagway, big boy. They did not. And here's the thing. I'm not saying that they could win it. Maybe they do. We'll find out, though. And I'm not saying that I'm 100% right on anything. I've never claimed that. I've never made that claim to any of you clowns. You Texas fans that acting like you're always right 100% of the time, you're fucking nuts. None of you are. In fact, how many times have you won the recruiting war? All the fucking time, and you still don't win shit. So quit acting like it's so wild to say this shit. Arch outproduced Lagway in less action last year.
Bro, I can't even. Do we really? Do you really want me to get it? I'm not okay. I'm going to try not. No, I'm going to have to do it. When Lagway was playing, he was playing against starters most of the time. Just going to throw it out there. Arch Manning was coming in.
They played Louisiana Monroe when he started, and then Mississippi State. Not the best defenses in the world, either one of them.
World beaters.
Yeah.
World beaters. But
again, all I'm saying is I don't think that I have them ranked out of contention to win the Natty, which I think there's no way they win the Natty. But theoretically, if you're in the top 12, top 13, you probably can at the end of the year. I mean, depends. I'm telling you, I don't think they're going to do it. I think there's a better chance that Texas doesn't make the playoff than it is win the Natty. I'll say that. I've said it all day. It's already been on record. That's my stance. Hell, I wrote it. I have a column about it.
And I'll tell you this
much. Go out there and find it. But the point is, there's a reason behind it. Like I said, all those things have to go correctly, and you haven't had that happen correctly for Sark yet. That all that stuff went together, and you had a lot more experience on your roster coming into a season than you do this year. That's why I say I have them that low. And it's weird to me that everybody else has got them so high. That's the point I'm trying to make, folks.
And to be fair, to even show you, like I have Alabama around like 8. Me personally.
Okay. And that's fair. Listen, here, I'll tell you why I have them as high as I do. I think that they have a pretty good quarterback situation. I don't think, even if it's Ty Simpson, I'm going to tell you, I think that I've said this to you before. I think that the kid is probably going to be needed at some point for them to be as good as they can be. Alabama's going to have to play.
Talking about Keelan Russell.
Keelan, yeah. You got to play him some. And now it may be situationally certain things like that. But all they really have to do, they have a very good defense. It got better and better as the year went along. They're one of the best defensive lines in the country. They're going to have one of the better secondaries. It seemed like they finally got used to playing that zone scheme by the end of last year. A lot of returning. They've got a great returning offensive line. They've got unbelievable receivers and a guy that throws the ball better no matter who they put in there than Jalen Milroe was.
No.
He doesn't have to be perfect. He has to he has to be a game manager. Alabama's won with game managers forever.
Yeah. No, and you know what's funny is, Post says Arch Manning better than Ty Simpson. And I may agree with I personally won't argue that right now because, once again, I think they're both unproven. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to try to think, I'm going to argue.
If we're going to talk about the possibilities and like what we think it is, you're just saying that because you don't know. Yeah, but pedigree, going by pedigree, he's a Manning, blah, 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 blah. We've seen some of what he's capable of. Okay, fine, if that's what you believe, but that's an opinion. He hasn't proved it yet. He hasn't proved it yet, and that's the point we're trying to make here, guys.
He threw more than 12 passes twice in 2 games last season.
Mm-hmm.
So can we stop acting like the dude started half the season and was throwing the ball all over the place?
He played in 6 or 7 games. Yeah, at spot duty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, hell, Ty Simpson did that. Now, granted, he didn't start any games, but like,
it doesn't mean that's what you're going to do as a starter. You're just acting like he automatically and again, I'm not just dogging you guys for it. All these damn national talking heads, pundits that are calling him the Heisman Trophy favorite, I think they're fucking nuts too.
Yeah, and Drew, when you say who is more proven, that's an oxymoron. If you're a first-year starter, you're unproven. You can't be proven. Now, if you're coming from another
prove, now you have to go prove.
That's the point of it. Like, now, if you tell me Mateer is proven, he could put up numbers, and he's going to come in as a first-year starter at Oklahoma. That
the SEC. There's things that you can qualify those things if you want to, but Mateer is certainly more proven.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, if you've never started, though, you can't be proven. And I'm not going to sit there and say, well, you potentially are better. Because, as an Alabama fan, we know that better than anybody when Blake Barnett came out of California as the hightailing 5-star QB that fucking dudded out against USC, and Jalen Hurts came in and took over, and it was over from there.
All the time, Joe. Hey, Jackson Arnold won the Gatorade Player of the Year a couple years ago, bro. And he was trash.
Barnett looked great in spot duty.
Sorry.
Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Now, I believe Arch will be a great quarterback. In my opinion, I do believe he's going to be that. But I'm not going to sit there.
This is the take of a casual. Does he play defense? Is he in charge of the defense and what they do there?
Oh my God.
And is he, maybe the talent everywhere else wasn't good enough. You don't know what Wyoming was like at all. And as a matter of fact, I seem to remember a couple of years ago, they gave you all the hell you could handle for a while in Austin.
Yeah, I don't like the whole comparing thing because it never works out.
It's just dumb to do it. To sit there and say he's better than Mateer. Mateer lost this, so that matters, but it doesn't matter that he only played against this guy. I have not once said that I don't think that Arch Manning is going to be good. I think he's going to be good. I think they're going to be pretty good on offense. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they're going to have to be better than just a good team to win the national championship. And they're going to have to dodge the pitfalls that befalls Texas often, and they don't have a lot of experience. That's tough to expect all of that. It's tough.
Yeah, but he says, as far as more experience, yeah, I'll give you that. If that's the case, then he probably is the most experienced first-year starter.
Sure.
Like,
he's been in the system long enough. He should know how to run it.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I'll definitely give you that. And I'm not clowning on Arch Manning, by the way. I think Arch Manning is going to be a great quarterback.
I think he's going to be fantastic. I do. Do I think that they're going to win national championships and do everything that Texas tells you? No, I don't. And you can say that it's because I'm an OU fan if you want. I own that part. I am an OU fan and fuck Texas. But I'm telling you, I believe I can defend every point I'm making, and you guys are just saying bullshit.
Until you win it.
Until you actually do it. We can blame it on Sark. Sark hasn't won an Addy. He's won 10 or more twice in 11 years.
I've personally felt bad for Texas, by the way. When you guys were in the Big 12, you guys were stacking talent. It's not like your recruiting wasn't great. You had really good recruiting. It just never.
But there was some other issues that were going on.
Yeah. No. Of course, there was a whole lot going on. So, I have a lot of friends that are Texas. Hell, I live right down the road from Austin, Texas. I'm literally 40 minutes from Austin. So I'm in literally the far north side of San Antonio, damn near New Braunfels, if you guys know the area at all. But I deal with Texas fans all the time, and I go to Texas games all the time. But
it used to be 7-win Sark. Would you shut up for once, Drew? Good luck. You don't even make sense. Texas fans aren't saying we're going to win the Natty. Maybe you aren't. A lot of them are. Everybody that's freaking the fuck out just over. Like, I literally had 200,000 people that did something with that post when I posted that list I just put up on Twitter. And thousands of people talking shit to me because I didn't have Texas high enough because they should be a favorite to win it.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Don't act like nobody in Texas does that shit. And no Texas fans are, you believe that they're going to win the Natty. You know you do. You know you do.
If you're a big enough fan, you absolutely feel that way. Because I want to believe Alabama will win the national championship. Realistically, in my mind, my brain is saying, no, probably not going to happen, bro.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that they've got as good a shot as anybody does.
But the fan side of me goes, hell yeah, they're going to win the national championship.
They could. I think they've got as well. And I would say the same thing. Oklahoma, I'd love to be able to sit here and tell you I think they're winning the Natty. I'm going to have to see it first. I like their team. I love John Mateer. I like the way that everything's set. I think the offensive line is going to be really good. I like the receivers that we have. And I think our defense is going to be the best in the country. I'd love to tell you that I think we can win the Natty. I got to see it. I got to see it.
Same. I need to see Ty Simpson. Look, I think Ty has all the potential in the world, just like I believe Arch does. And a lot of these first-year starters do, because I followed them for a long time, following recruiting. Mm-hmm. But, I was super, I mean, one of my biggest misses, unless it pans out, is Jackson Arnold. I was on Jackson Arnold early, man.
Huge miss. And that was a miss. And you know what? That was a screw-up on the part of not just – you know what? It's not all Jackson's fault. A lot of things happened, though, to transpire for Oklahoma to be that terrible on offense. Yeah. Not the least of which was the worst offensive coordinator I've ever seen. Yeah. And for whatever reason, it shouldn't have been like that. So because he knows the offense, you didn't have to make a big change. And he wasn't getting it done in a lot of different ways. There wasn't communication. We're not going to go into all that. Then you had all the injuries.
Yeah.
And then you had the fact that when it came to dealing with pressure, Jackson is not that good at it. He's not.
Yeah. Hopefully Hugh Freeze, maybe going, how they say, like, you go somewhere else, you know what I mean? A new place.
Yeah, but I've heard what we're hearing very familiar things out of them.
Yeah, no, I know, but I never want to talk bad about these guys or try to hound on them too much. Mm-hmm. As much as I don't want to see them succeed in certain circumstances when they play Alabama, but I don't want to talk crap about them. Sooners got everything to prove this year, same as yeah.
Everybody does. Everybody has a lot to prove this year right now. I would tell you, here's the deal. Let's see. Let me go back to, let me pull that back up real quick. I would tell you that if you look at this deal, I mean, I think I have Georgia pretty high up still. And probably if I think about it, I'm doing that based on what I know Kirby to be. And I would tell you that that's everybody's doing that.
Yeah, let's be realistic.
Because they don't have a lot coming back.
They don't. But my God, this past cycle, this 2026 class is retarded for Georgia, by the way.
Actually, I have them at 8. So,
yeah. God,
I have them at 8. But I think I could put them probably lower because I really feel like Georgia is in prove-it mode now. Because I think they've been more talented too without a first-year quarterback, and they haven't gotten it done the last couple of years. I don't know what to think about their quarterback situation.
Gunner,
not only that, I don't know about any of their receivers. They're new. Gunnar Stockton hasn't done anything either yet. He's won a game or so. He beat Texas last year, but I've never seen Kirby Smart have to go to the portal for defensive linemen, and they did.
That actually probably answered Drew's question, talking about who's more experienced. I think him and Gunnar Stockton are pretty similar when it comes to first-year starters, right? So, because Gunnar Stockton, I mean, he wasn't a starter last year.
Yeah.
It was Beck, so.
Well, you heard a stat that he was under more drop back pressure. Well, they did go through 11 different offensive line
Yeah, rotations.
rotation, combinations.
Yeah, it was
That's
chaos.
not, but that doesn't change that whenever he did have time, he still made bad decisions. They may have broke him, but he was not good.
Bro, so he put that's because we stole Justice Terry from him. Justice Terry is a freak of nature. I'm just gonna point that out there. That dude looks like he is 30 years old with 3 kids paying child support. And that man he does not look like he just came out of high school. That dude is ridiculous.
Yeah. You Texas guys are on my last nerve. All right, let's go here now. I gave my reasons for it. Like I said, I'm not gonna rehash this whole deal anymore. But I will tell you this: at the end of the year, you guys now have all the ammunition you need to say you don't know what he's talking about. Cool. Just know I don't hide behind anything anyway. It doesn't matter. Here's final question. Question number 3. We've been going for about an hour and a half. We might go for another 15 minutes. Who is the softest coach in college football? And the reason I ask this, it's not just one. It's really not just 2, but there's certainly a couple of guys that should certainly win this deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Softest mother flickers in college football. And I'm not sure. I know everybody thinks I'm just going to say Lincoln Riley. And I usually default to Lincoln. He's soft as baby shit. No doubt.
I'll give you another one.
Matt Rule was where I was going. I was going with Matt Rule, but you go where you want. Who is the softest, John?
Okay, look, I'm not saying this because I'm on an Oklahoma channel. I'm saying it because the guy openly admitted he ran from the SEC and then tried to avoid playing Notre Dame at all cost.
Yeah.
Like, we know Lincoln Riley. I don't think there's any way to not argue this point that he is the softest, but that's an easy one. That's an easy one.
Softest baby shit, man.
Yeah. Another one that's not too far off from him is Hugh Freeze, who loves
another softie. Yeah. Continue. Yes, I love this. Come on.
Hugh Freeze loves to bitch and complain about everything that happens. Now, look, I'll give Hugh Freeze this. The man he has cancer right now.
They call your team trash because that's what they are, trash.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So, no, you're good. So, but no, aside from that, Hugh Freeze, everywhere he's been, he's got an issue. He's got something to address to somebody. And it's always a freaking problem. And when he's winning, when things are going well, you don't hear anything. It's just silence. The moment things are going south, he starts losing recruits and recruiting, or he's losing games that he shouldn't be losing.
Right.
All of a sudden,
you know what? They should be really good. I don't know that I think that we heard from him that he doesn't think Jackson Arnold is in good shape. He keeps saying he needs to get his confidence. This is not a good time for you to be saying that anymore.
This man Hugh Freeze is ridiculous, dude. Hugh Freeze is exactly what I think a lot of guys are. Hugh Freeze is a great offensive mind. Stick to that. When it comes to head coaching, some people shouldn't be a head coach, right? They're just they get to be a head coach and they just kind of flare out. I mean, Oklahoma knows this more than anybody with Lincoln Riley. Great offensive mind, one of the best minds in the game. Put him as a head coach. Is it going to work out? Maybe not. Hugh Freeze, I think, is one of those guys. I think Hugh Freeze is a complainer. I don't like it. Lincoln Riley's definitely up there. Matt Rule may be on my list. I'm not too familiar with a lot of Matt Rule's. Well, yeah, I guess I have heard him kind of whine.
I can get into the Matt Rule stuff. Continue with your with that deal. Do you believe that Hugh Freeze is more soft than Lincoln, though?
No. I don't know. It's got to be pretty close because he does. The reason why I say it's possible is because he tries to defend himself at every corner, right? Some coaches do give in. It's like, okay, this is just a situation where it's at. Hugh Freeze is not good at that. Hugh Freeze is not that coach that goes, yeah, we're just not good, right? So it's Jackson Arnold played piss poor today. He made the wrong reads.
Yeah.
We lost the game. I don't like coaches that do that, man. Like, and I guess it's just because I've been brainwashed listening to Mike Shula and Nick Saban, because as much as they were different as far as results go, well, Mike Shula won 10 games one season, but they were very much kind of alike when it came behind the microphone. It was a lot of, we didn't do what we needed to do, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? It was no finger pointing, whereas Hugh Freeze is really good at finger pointing. And he'll kind of do those nonchalant, like, I'm throwing you under the bus without trying to throw you under the bus. But then when you're not paying attention, I'm also going to back it up and run you over with it again type situations. So, but yeah. Oh, and Neilio nailed it on the head too, by the way. PJ Fleck is, my God. Actually,
that's a weird dude. That if we were doing the weirdest guy in college football,
he's up there.
He might have the cake. Yeah.
Way up there.
Yeah, no doubt. I would agree with that. He's a weird fucking guy. It really,
the red hat guy.
Huh?
I'm the Bama guy, not Drew. He said, I agree with the red hat guy.
Okay,
I'm the red hat guy.
Yeah, but about what's he agreeing with?
Probably with the Hugh Freeze, because he said, I hate that he throws his players under the bus.
He definitely does that.
He's a professional at doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we've heard it from multiple sources that people didn't even play with him. So one of them has a podcast called 4th and 1. So they had a segment on it.
Mm-hmm.
He said weird people from Minnesota. Minnesota?
I don't even think he's from there, though, but he's definitely become very fucking weird.
Maybe it just put you there.
He's definitely said it. I mean, it's not been good. Hold on real quick here. I got something for everybody, because I know this is the next thing coming, especially from Riley 2.0. 2-0. Riley 2-0. They're like 2-3. I think he's 2-5 or something like that against the SEC, just so you know. Hold on.
That awkward silence. I like it.
Yeah, the awkward silence. It's a little weird, right? All right. I'm downloading this, but I'm going to make a point for everybody. So everybody relax. It's coming. It's on the way.
He was unprepared.
I was definitely, I didn't know it was actually going to go this way. So I'm okay with it. But here we go.
You're good. I'm messing with you.
All right. So here's where, to me, the next one, you were talking about Lincoln Riley. I'm talking about Lincoln Riley too. That's not very good, I don't think. Let me see something here. No, that didn't come through very good. All right, never mind. Well, I'll just read it to you guys instead. This is better that way. So we're talking Lincoln Riley here, and somebody in there just said, who's proving that he's the one that wants to do this? Well, I'll tell you what he was just saying on the Always College Football podcast just days ago. There are some changes we all just got to accept because it's part of it right now. It's part of it. It's the same shit he was saying at Big Ten Media Days last year when he wasn't going all the way to saying that they were going to definitely cancel the Notre Dame game. But he didn't say they were going to keep doing it either. And they will only extend it as of now 1 year so that they can finish playing it in the Coliseum rather than on the road at Notre Dame. They'll extend it out 1 more year. Notre Dame has not agreed to that. They want the rivalry to continue like it has for the last 95 years. So he's soft as shit.
Lincoln pisses me off.
He runs away from fucking SEC players, SEC games. Hell, they beat LSU, and he still wouldn't play Ole Miss. You know that Lane wanted to play that fucking series like crazy.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
You know who else? I have to throw one more name out there.
Go
just
for it.
For the audience. Just for the audience.
I mean,
I can't stand him from a human being standpoint. I'm talking about Brian Kelly.
Another soft as shit guy. Yeah. Here we go. I didn't know that we were going to go that far away from where I was thinking, but I'm glad we are. Come on.
Brian Kelly's definitely soft. you don't have to explain much other than my family, and then dancing.
That's so weird, bro.
Like I'm not going to say it on here, but you guys get it. With those little dancing clips he had with those recruits, like, bro, this stuff's like weird, bro. This is some Diddy looking shit going on in these videos, bro. Like, I'm not trying to be too weird with it, but it looks kind of funny.
Yeah.
But no, Brian Kelly for sure.
He's up there. You know what? And he's another excuse maker. I'll give you another excuse maker that he gets a lot of credit that he doesn't deserve. Mike Gundy.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Gundy.
I can't speak a whole lot on that.
Oh, I can. Everybody that tries to say that, well, how come you're not playing the Bedlam game anymore? Ask Mike Gundy. All he'll say is, well, if they wanted to keep that game going, they wouldn't have went to the SEC. That's all he's got. You know why? Because he's 4-15 against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Or no, yeah, 4-15.
See, I didn't know that Brian Kelly is despised in
5-15, maybe. No, it's 4-15 or 5-15. Anyway, it sucks. He doesn't want it to get worse, right? He doesn't want it to get worse, so they don't do it. And then all this bullshit about, they're definitely soft. It's always Oklahoma's fault, no matter what it is that's going on in their world up in Stillwater. It's always OU's fault. And yet, the year that they leave the conference, along with Texas, they go 0-9 in the Big 12. 0-9. And they had 20 of 22 returning starters.
Where's it at?
People that are negative and voicing their opinion are the same ones that can't pay their own bills.
I got to get some of those, man. I got a couple already on my soundboard, but I got to get more, bro.
You can't hate coaches for not taking their teams to tough non-con games. I can hate them for whatever the fuck reason I want, Drew. But you know what I can really do? I can say that they're fucking soft for not playing tough non-con games. Soft.
There's your whiner right there. It's Nelio, Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer.
You better be lucky he ain't coaching. I'd be grilling.
Did you hear what he said
yesterday?
Did you hear what he said yesterday?
No, I don't listen to anything.
He's the reason that the Big Ten is the best conference in the country now is because of him.
Urban Meyer makes no damn. That dude needs to not look. Oh my God! Do not get me started on this dude. Dude just signed a contract with Fox Sports. He is licking their crack all the way right now. So
he's soft. For Gundy to not want to play the game anymore when they will play it, that's soft as baby shit. And I'm going to tell you another thing. Until he leaves and that mentality, that they have fostered that mentality in Stillwater. I know this. And Oklahoma fans know that I'm fucking right about this. They will not be better. They may do better in the conference this year. They will never, as far as I'm concerned, they'll never compete for a national championship. But they certainly won't, as long as that way of thinking is just like Texas A&M is going on. They're not, because you don't want to play them, and that is the one thing that probably gave them a hard edge. Even though they hardly ever beat them, there were some really good games in there that they were that close, and they could have beaten anybody else.
Yeah.
And in a playoff situation, you probably don't want to see them some of those years that they couldn't beat Oklahoma. And it's one of those things that happens in rivalry games. But they let it turn him soft. And they, just like the reason they won't fire him for whatever reason is because, I'll tell you why, because they are convinced that they can't get a better coach than him.
People that are negative and voicing their opinion are the same ones that can't pay their own bills.
This is what he does.
Yeah.
He's soft as baby shit, folks. Soft, soft, soft.
And I agree to an extent with Riley 2.0. When you guys are saying Saban made a credit scheduling week, neutral site, I agree outside of the first game of the year, because I'm sorry, that wasn't really being done until Nick Saban showed up at Alabama. Let's go ahead and get that straight.
Let's just be real though. They didn't always play shitty teams when for those he set those up for neutral site games. What's wrong with those?
USC,
USC,
Wisconsin,
Clemson.
Clemson. We had a multitude of.
I mean, Florida State was supposed to be good coming up this year. I don't know what they're going to be after the 2-10, but they were bitching about how they didn't get into the playoff the year before because they went undefeated in the regular season.
So like,
and won their conference championship.
And Riley, so I this always comes up in people. That's because people don't do the research. Says Saban almost never would play non-conference opponents on the road. Do you know that there's a reason behind that? Do you know that Saban, when he schedules these neutral site games, the reason why they do it at the very beginning of the year, they're not a home and away game, is because when it's not a home and away game, they're allowed to recruit the players in the local area. So guess what they were doing when they were in Atlanta, in Dallas, and places like that? They were recruiting. It's a recruiting tactic. See, but no one wants to bring that up because it's not just Saban doing that. It's the other coach willing to do that as well, because once again, they're both benefiting from the recruiting that you typically wouldn't do at that time.
Listen, I'll just say this. What Nick Saban, I don't think that what he was doing was soft. I think that what he was doing was freaking trying to, and it's the same thing that I've been saying about him with this whole playoff stuff. I think he should shut up, because you know what? We get it that you stacked it into your favor to win national championships, and we're the best in the world at cheating, and what was called cheating. It's everybody does it. I'm just saying he was the best at it. It's not just, and I'm not saying that he wasn't a great coach. He was a great coach. What he did the best, though, was compartmentalizing everything that they needed to do, and he did it his way, and it worked. So, yeah, you can say what you want, but Lincoln brings up that Saban shit like he's trying to do it the same way. That's not what he's trying to do. And by the way, you guys that continue to do the dumb shit about the SEC, out of their 16 teams, like 12 of them are in the top 15 of schedule strength.
It's crazy.
What are we talking about?
And the whole top heavy thing gets old too, because once again, you look at the past, 20 years, 25
what
years.
What is the Big Ten if it's not top heavy?
16 national championships, 6 different teams. Most people don't even know LSU's got the second most, not Georgia. Like, you know what I mean? So it just goes on and on and on. But, you know, it is what it is. And not only that, but look, no offense to the Big 12, but until you're playing 8 SEC teams every year, yeah, of course you're not going to schedule 3 other Power 4 or whatever you would want to call it now teams.
But they are trying. You know what? On top of that, though, they've always had to have a Power 4 opponent.
Well, they do every year.
They have to do it.
We open with it. So,
That's right. That's right. They've got their cupcakes, and for the record, the SEC is going to 9 games when they get their way in this other shit. We're getting out of the weeds again here. I'm talking about who's the softest right now. Nick Saban's not even coaching anymore.
Yeah, that's
who's the softest right now today. I think Lincoln is a very good candidate for this. Right now, I got to hand it to freaking Matt Rule. Right now, I have to hand it to Matt Rule. Matt Rule is the reason that we are down this road of not playing fucking spring games anymore, because he made that big comment. Then later on, this has all gone on this year alone. Later on, they canceled their games with Tennessee, home and away. And he says, why in the fuck would I play Oklahoma, a tough out-of-conference game? Why would I do that when I play in the Big Ten? Soft. Now the latest thing is, when they were talking about on one of the shows there in Huskerland, that he was saying, how many teams do you they asked the question, how many things do you think this thing should go to as far as the college football playoff? As many as possible, he says. He's down with 40 as far as he's concerned. Many as possible so that his team can get in. Now, yeah, I know it was a joke. I know it was a stupid joke that he put on there. But here's the thing. That mentality has definitely sunk in to old Rule. They have.
How long is his leash there?
Oh man, I don't know.
But we won't get into that. We can be
I don't
on
know.
30 minutes, but yeah.
And I mean, it's been a shit show in Nebraska for a while.
Well, they got a quarterback coming in.
Listen, I like their quarterback.
I like what's going on.
I think so too. This is what Andy and Ari were saying today. I was watching them from Thursday, I guess. And I mean, of course, everybody in Nebraska lost their shit on Ari for saying that it was soft that he said it.
Yeah.
Ari gave it context. They were saying it was all out of context, that it was just because he was joking. No, he brought up everything I just brought up, all this shit that's being said right now. And he's leading the way on this not playing a good conference schedule. For you folks in the comments, Drew, I'm looking right at you, that are telling me that the best thing for a coach to do is not play a good schedule, you're soft. You're soft, too. But I'm talking about the coaches. It's fucking soft to not want to play the best schedule. And you know what? Because I don't care if you win. I don't care if you win. Again, if you actually went by strength of schedule, we would kill all this. A lot of this shit would be killed off. It wouldn't just be about wins and losses. If they went to a deal where they worked on the scheduling, they had centralized scheduling, which I think is coming, by the way. I think is on his way. Soft if you're not wanting to play.
Husker on here. You're about to make him come to the screen.
Who?
Oh, man. Pit Snipe Husker.
Oh, yeah. Yep, soft. I'm good with it, he says. And then he says, what are you talking about there, Ganj? Weirdo. With how bad Nebraska's been, if he can't get them from 5-6 purgatory to 8-9 in the first 5 years, it'd be a massive improvement. If he can. Yeah. But that's still here's the deal. Come on, man. We're acting like the Big Ten is that good, top to bottom, and we know it isn't. Maryland, we just talked about Minnesota and their weird-ass coach. Michigan State, I like John L. Smith. I think he's pretty good. Jonathan Smith.
Yeah.
But he hadn't done it yet. And they're not very good. They were really bad last year. Rutgers.
Nothing sounds good about that.
Yeah, old Midnight Mail.
Oh, man.
Midnight Mail. It's also soft to schedule FCS teams at all. Okay. Whatever.
That's not going to stop because those schools.
I got to tell you this: if you want the FCS to remain around,
yeah,
you're going to have to keep on scheduling them some. They need those money games.
That's how they keep the football programs afloat.
How they still have a football program. That's right. And some of those FCS schools, they're not all from the SWAC and the MEAC. They're not. Those North Dakota states of the world and Montanas of the world, Montana states, will kick a lot of those group of 5 teams' asses.
Post, please don't talk about Texas's schedule, please, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Please do not even.
Yeah, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
That is a joke. Oh, man.
You have got to be the worst. This is the stupidest thing you know what? A lot of Texas fans say stupid shit in here. This is stupid. This is real stupid.
So I guess our power
trash
are San Jose State and UTEP and Sam Houston State are all 3 back to back to back.
Yeah. Sam Houston State. Are they FBS?
Yeah. I'm almost positive they are.
Okay. They hadn't been forever.
One of my really good, actually my neighbors, his whole family goes to Sam Houston State. They're like, it's like a cult, I guess, kind of like A&M.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I just did. He's soft, and you're soft for saying that shit. But it shouldn't surprise me, another Longhorn. With their soft-ass schedule. I hadn't even brought Texas into this shit, and you guys did. I wasn't even going there.
Texas is only in control of 4 games on that schedule, and 3 of those are
How is
against
that?
San Jose, UTEP, Sam Houston State.
Mhm.
But you do play Ohio State.
Yay.
So
Listen, the more that this gets said, though, here's the one beautiful thing I love about it, them saying it. He is soft and is weak sauce to say it, right? But here's what I will say. The meltdown when they go 8-4 with this schedule, it will be epic. It will be epic, John.
So, yeah, Post says the SEC gave us the shit week schedule. Yeah, you're right. But that's also why I'm not going to brag about my schedule either.
Come on, bro. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people would just sit there and tell you that, I wonder why they gave them that kind of schedule. We're going to talk about the last 10 years. Okay. They did it and they tried to fuck Oklahoma over to switch up that power dynamic. I know it ain't going to work. Who?
So is this game is it literally at Ohio State, not a neutral site? It is.
It's at Ohio State. It's in the shoe.
That's gonna be a tough one.
It is. It's gonna be a tough one. But it shouldn't be that hard for the Golden Arch, bro. Come on now. He is the savior. They should be number 1.
Undefeated.
Again, Rule, to get back to the point of this, Matt Rule is soft. And if you are not willing to play, here's what the way that you keep college football healthy is play the best fucking games you can.
True.
Get the best matchups you can. Stop running from them, you bitch-ass coaches. Stop it.
I do love really good early games. Like normally I would love Alabama, Florida State at the beginning of the season.
I think it should be it might have been a hell of a game had they not just completely come apart last year. I don't know what it's going to be this year. I don't think great. Right?
Yeah.
They could be pretty good, though. They could be okay, but we don't know that.
It's just one of those toss-ups. It's kind of like when we played USC. They had Clay Helton. But these games are scheduled like 9 years in advance. They're so far in advance. You don't know
I
what
know, dude. I know.
are going to look like.
I know. Oklahoma had Georgia on its schedule until they made them take them off the schedule last year.
Yeah. Oh my Lord. Bro.
Because when they made the move or whatever, they didn't want them to play it and then not be able to pay it back or whatever the fuck. Oklahoma was ready to play it, wanted to play it, but the SEC didn't. They screwed that up. We're ready to play it. I'm glad that they're playing Michigan the next 2 years. They've got, I believe, Ohio State coming up right after that.
We do too. Alabama has Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. It's going to happen, and and the two conferences are talking about doing this scheduling thing, which puts Rule opposite of his own conference because they want to do that anyway. You know,
it just proves that the ACC and Big 12.
And the one win that I can think of that mattered last year for Matt Rule, Colorado, a non-con game.
Yeah, that is true.
Why would you want to get rid of that?
Yeah, see, big problem is scheduling the game 7 years in advance. Releasing the schedule should be an event.
That's why they need a central scheduler if they're going to do this.
They do.
If we're going to have this big playoff and all these separate conferences, which I don't know how long that lasts, if they end up to where they got 2 big conferences and it is NFL light, then you will have a central scheduler and you won't have to worry about this anymore.
Yep.
But until then, stop being pussies and do it. What you need to fight for is strength of schedule to matter. Because then that way, the soft asses that schedule shitty games will not be able to bitch and complain when they don't get in, even though they're 11-1, because they played a soft ass schedule. That's all I'm saying. I'll tell you this. Most Nebraska fans would not trade their damn schedule for Oklahoma's. I guarantee you, Texas, y'all asses don't want to trade.
No, Oklahoma got put into the ringer.
Hell yeah. Same with Florida. People are acting like Florida could go 8-4 this year, and they should build Billy a fucking statue if they do.
If they go 8-4, they should be automatic qualifiers into the playoffs.
I'm saying, if they go 8-4, they should build Billy a statue.
That would be incredible. With everything they've been through as well, the turmoil with the quarterback situation, and everything. Oh my Lord, bro.
Mm-hmm. See, I didn't even realize y'all played Wisconsin and beat them. They sucked too. So, you know what I mean? Like, Colorado was actually fighting for a chance to get into the playoff. They missed it by a game to be in the championship game, which it's the only way they would have gotten in. But, I mean, they had the Heisman winner, another Heisman finalist. Y'all beat the shit out of them. It always feels good whenever Nebraska. I guess I'd forgotten how chippy that series is. We have our own chippiness with Nebraska fans, or with Nebraska. But the thing is most Oklahoma fans respect old Nebraska. New Nebraska, I don't know. They're not good. But like, I met Tom Osborne. It was after he was done. One of the fucking coolest people I've ever met. And I met the second time I saw him, it was 2 years after I met him the first time, and he remembered my name. That weirded me out. I couldn't believe it. It's like Mac Brown. Mac Brown would remember your name no matter what.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mac was cool as shit. For a Texas guy, he was cool as shit.
He's soft too.
Yeah. This is a temporary thing, the scheduling. You just pointed out yourself a little while ago. Major crap.
You know what? No.
It's going to have to. You're right about that.
I'm changing my answer.
It doesn't change that he's soft, though.
You know who the softest coach in college football is? I'm changing my answer.
Come on.
There's no denying who the softest coach in college football is. We all know it's Bill Belichick. Anytime your girlfriend dictates your scheduling, you're the softest in college football.
Oh. Wait a minute now. Are those aimed in the direction of Chapel Hill, North Carolina?
Well, I mean, it's hard to deny what's going on. It's hard.
Are you not entertained?
I need to take Soft Peter and go to bed. I have a problem with what the fuck? Who wants a Soft Peter? It's no fun. Norman, stop.
Post, you brought that up? Oh, man. I
See what the jury is on Sark from 26-27. I don't know.
He said, don't you talk about Belichick? Oh, man.
She's got some voodoo something.
Yeah, she got something.
If you threw it up into the air, it would turn into sunshine.
Bro, clearly, it should be making you see stuff. Like,
oh my God, that's too good. Man, if you threw it up into the air, it would turn into sunshine. I don't know how that he must be having. I think.
How is he, like 24?
Kimberly K may still be in here. I'm gonna try to soften that a little bit, but she got to be turning him out.
Some dude.
Yeah, if you ever, how many hunters? We got hunters in here. I'm assuming. You ever seen a buck in rut?
Yeah. Oh my God, bro.
They're fucking morons. Chasing that booty around. I think that's what happened to Bill.
I don't think I've ever seen a downfall of a coach like this.
I don't know. We don't know that it's a downfall yet.
It's got to be a downfall, dude. There's no way that man's coaching.
Listen, it's gotten better men than him, though.
You're right.
That body part has gotten better men than him.
I mean, you look at what's his name, Paterno, when he was at not Paterno. What's his name at Arkansas? The motorcycle.
Oh yeah, Petrino.
Petrino. Well, the secretary. Oh man.
Mm-hmm. There's a new one that you guys will hear about soon. I can't tell you, but there's a new one. losses at OSU, OU, and or Florida A&M. What I want in 2026 is Tennessee, LSU, Auburn, South Carolina, and Mizzou. Added on to OU, A&M, and Arkansas. You want that one? Well, that's what we have. that's what Oklahoma has. With Texas, no Arkansas, no A&M. But we got Bama and Ole Miss.
Got him in the Venus flytrap. That's what it's got to be, bro.
It's something. It's the fly trap. Yeah, okay. I like it. At this point, for old Billy, he just ought to find. Okay. I'm gonna do that one. Hey man, but I'm telling you, think of a buck during the rut season.
Corporate Duck just put it out. Bucks will walk out into open fields during the rut. Exactly.
They'll walk up right next to a fucking human and not even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. The more of the voodoo, I don't know. I mean, listen, I too have been possessed by that spell.
We all have at one point.
Listen, man. Those younger years, you just hadn't had enough of it yet. You didn't get turned out. But the weird thing with Belichick is, there's a lot of weird shit about that.
Yeah.
I mean, does he not understand how he got this one? I mean, you could just turn him over if you're Belichick. He's got the money. He's got the ability to do so. He doesn't have to stick with this one.
Something's going on. She knows something. She knows something on somebody.
Yeah. It turned into sunshine. He stared at the light for too long.
Yeah, that's what happened. He took the red.
Yeah, he may. I don't know. I don't know if that makes him the softest coach in the country. Because I'm still with Matt Rule, but he may not be far off. We'll see. We'll see if it softened his team up.
Softened his team up? Oh.
Blinded by the light.
I remember when Dan Mullen coached at Florida, and when I saw the video of his wife kissing some of the players coming on the field, that turned me sideways, bro. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. They're not, all that, but like, my wife's not going to be on the side.
We love your wife. We love your wife, Neilio. She's cool. She's still around, and she takes care of you. She's been good too. I already know this. You probably needed her ass to get you under control. My thoughts. But it just gets weirder when you're 50 years older than the girl. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird to begin with, and then it's like telling Grandpa what to do when he's doesn't know what's happening anymore.
That's the way Bill Belichick looks.
Yeah, kind of.
That's
like the way it looks to me.
He's just kind of being led around.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tebow is softest in America, says Oklahoma Ganja Crower. Everybody in there, give me who is your softest coach in the country? Softest coach in the country.
Yeah, you're right on that one, Husker. Ed Orgeron is you're right. That man, he made out.
We know you are, Neilio. Blessed beyond reason. That's for sure. Give me whatever. We'll see, man. We'll see what y'all get. Ed Orgeron is who is your, come on. 20-somethings like older men. Yeah, they like money. They like money. And it's not just about her. You know as well as I do that guys like younger women. I don't disagree with that. Some guys more than others.
Younger is one thing, but
yeah, and I don't know though, but once you've had a taste of younger, even as, I'm not that old now, but my ex-wife, 7 years younger than me, it didn't work out well. I don't want anybody that's 4, 5, 6, 10 years younger than me anymore. No. I need peace. And That's what Belichick needs in his life is peace, and he ain't getting peace, bro. He's got a peace. He ain't getting peace though. Peace.
Yeah,
you know?
there's no peace in his life right now. Literally, you're right.
Oh man.
Like none.
Yeah, I don't know why he listens. I don't. Yeah, that's a good one.
I had to bring that up though. I don't know how I thought about it.
Okay, you like it 21 to 25, but you're 27. Okay, you're a kid. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I'm about to be 40, and I'm not dating anything under like 34.
Satterfield, you don't like Mike, huh? Why not? Why is he soft? I don't follow the Dolphins that much.
I don't know if I would.
I'm kind of off. I like Mike McDonald though.
He is a complainer.
Man.
He's a player's coach, though, to be fair. So he complains for the players. That's a tough one.
Well, oh yeah, Drew. Oh. Drew, you've been sipping on that bottle a little bit tonight, Drew. He starts getting. It's when he starts teaching everybody. He's one of those guys, mansplaining shit to people. Don't bring your teenage girlfriend to work. Yeah, I agree.
Literally.
Ran from the SEC was absolutely devastated when he found out USC was going to the Big Ten. That's true. Yeah, I think Matt Rule is the softest of the week, but my softest coach currently, period, definitely goes to Lincoln Riley. Yeah, but this week I'm going to give it to Matt Rule because he's definitely right there with him. They're cut from the same fucking cloth. Brian Kelly is definitely right up there with him, and so is Mike Gundy. But right now, to me, overall, it's definitely Tebow. Here goes Coach. I knew it. Love it. Gundy, definitely soft. I said he was one of them. But Lincoln Riley, you're going to tell me he's more soft than Gundy, or he's not more soft than Gundy, Coach? Lincoln. Yeah, she's got something. Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Literally,
think of a buck in the rut. It's about as idiots.
Gorilla grip glue.
Oh,
Oh,
vice
man.
grips, vice clamps on them.
Oh God.
All right. Let me know who you got in there. If you're watching this on the replay, continue to put. I don't want to put a poll up because then it would just be mine. I want you to give me your softest and why in the comment section, either of this part or after we're off the air. We've been going for 2 hours and 8 minutes. Want to say thank you for everybody coming in. I don't know how many people we've had in here so far. About 200 or so. And we only got 17 likes even out of the 35 people that are in here right now. Come on, man. Y'all don't hit the like button?
We're not entertaining.
You know, I don't ask for money. But I got to tell you, we got to make a little money, and the easiest way to help us do that, just hit the like button. It's free. Mike Norvell, okay. Riley and Gundy are twins. Yeah, there you go. He did say that the other day. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm off of that. All right. I appreciate everybody coming in. John, tell everybody where to find you.
Bama Standard Network. I do 2 shows over there, College Football Chatter, and then Inside Bama Recruiting. Mainly do recruiting now. Yeah, appreciate the invite getting on here. Obviously, Jason, appreciate everybody in the comment section making this entertaining, all the good jokes and all the good stuff, obviously. So, yeah, Bama Standard Network, and as you guys can see on the screen, at Bama Nation John when it comes to X or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate it, man. You are the man. We'll put all that in the description here coming up as well. Make sure you guys get over there, check them out. You're going to see more from me and John coming up soon too. So appreciate having you in here, man. I figured you'd want to get those 3 good questions. You know, we have some fun with it. Guys, let us know, what are your 3 big questions for like next week? Maybe we come up with 3 more. I was expecting to do that, and actually, I did do my my all-time greats. We will postpone that another week though, until we have some of these guys back on to do your all-time greats on offense and defense, and we'll go from there. Coach, appreciate you coming in, man. Good to see you. Should have been the biggest crybaby. Soft isn't good word for football. Yeah, but we're talking about soft coaches. They're not getting hit. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Appreciate you coming in, Pit Snipe. Hope you're a subscriber. If you aren't, become one. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Anybody who is, that's the other thing. Hit that subscriber button and ring the bell. Make sure if you want to watch us moving forward and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff coming up, man. Looking forward to the season. We're less than 100 days away from the start of the college football season. Lots of stuff to break down on Hall of Fame College Football and other places. If you want good recruiting stuff, and we've got a lot of good recruiting guys at Oklahoma. We did one with Chris Mason last night. He's one of the best out there. Tell you what, this one right here next to me, if you want to get good information on recruiting, you're going to get it from John. He's calling and talking to these guys. Another one of the really good recruiting dudes that's not just putting in a bunch of BS stuff. He's talking to some of these guys, and he's paying attention to the trends. He knew Harris was going to go to Oklahoma and not Bama yesterday. So was excited about seeing that. But I appreciate you coming on, man. It was good stuff.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
All right, man. Well, I'm going to hit the oops, what do I have it?
Well, I'm going to hit this one.
Roll down tide.
Roll down tide.
Harvey Updike. F them trees is Brent.
F them trees is what he says. And I'll do this one then on the way out.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
By the way, it is now 1:52 a.m. Central Time, and Texas still sucks. See y'all on the next one.